that road.
We can't use our little sticker thing because I don't know, a couple lives ago we were traveling and it fell off, so we're like, we got to figure out something else.
So yeah, but in this video, we're going to be talking about giving your business, not just your reselling business, but giving your profession the best you, and how sleep and nutrition can either help you or hurt you in giving you the best you. Look at Jolene back there trying to be all up in our video. Just say hi, Jolene.
We're traveling right now.
So yeah, we're on our way to, we're in Missouri, and we're headed to Clinton, Missouri to see some of my family for the weekend. And but if you are new to the channel, we are the Family Flips. We are full-time resellers. What that is we buy stuff and we resell it on platforms like eBay and Amazon. So, but today we're talking about giving your business the best version of you, and kind of a lesson, not really a lesson I've learned, but just something that really helped recalibrate me this last week was, trying to get Jessica in there too.
Sorry, I'm driving.
I'm not a very good camera phone holder. But this week, you know, we've got 3 kids. You can see back there, Lucas is over there sleeping. If you can see him, there he goes. And, you know, you get to where, you know, you have 3 kids, you don't get a lot of sleep. And, but our kids are getting older to where we're actually able to get more sleep. But this week, I didn't do a very good job of getting a lot of sleep. I stayed up late, playing some Madden a couple days, working on some stuff, and just in general just stayed up way too late. You know, usually I'm good with 7 hours of sleep. Jessica, she likes 8 or 9 hours of sleep. And
yeah, well, this is actually something, honestly, guys, that we've been chewing on for quite a while. Just because we are very much like go-getters, and so we actually have to hold each other accountable about not spreading ourselves too thin. And I'm driving, so I can't really look at you guys very much, so I'm sorry, and I apologize for that. But it's been something that the last couple of weeks, I don't know if you guys remember, but a few weeks ago, we went camping. And you don't eat very well when you're camping. Everything is like cooked on, you know, s'mores, and you've got like hot dogs and all that. And I've actually discovered that I am relatively sensitive to gluten. Just not that it like gives me stomach cramps like people who have like celiac disease and stuff, but like it makes me very, very groggy. And I discovered this back in February. My husband and I, Joe and I, we went on a, what is that diet called? Whole30. We did the Whole30 diet, which is basically kind of like an elimination of all inflammatory foods, and then you, at the end of the 30 days, you reintroduce those things to see how it affects your body. And I ended up eating what was it, spaghetti? It was spaghetti, the sugar-free sauce and everything. I had nothing else added to it except for the gluten pasta, and I ended up passing out in the hallway just from I guess the way that the sugars were. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but and then ever since then, every time I eat something that's very, very gluteny?
Yeah.
What's the right word for that? I don't know. I actually start feeling very, very sick. But sometimes, you know, when you're camping, like, it just happens. And then slowly, after we got back, I did not readjust back to eating what I normally do. Because sometimes it's not very convenient to cook all of your meals and things like that, and we hadn't been meal planning. And so I discovered, I was like, I don't know why I'm not very productive. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't focus. You know, Joe was even asking me, like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. And I started looking back, and I realized that I wasn't eating very well. So we've been kind of sitting on this idea of, like, you know, man, like, business really suffered because I wasn't there for it this past week. And then this past week, Joe was having a problem with sleep.
Yep. So just what we're trying to say, what we're saying is, you know, what you feed yourself, and, you know, really what fuels you, drives you. If you're eating a bunch of crap foods that don't really, your body, and it doesn't have to be really crap foods, it could be just be foods that your body does not handle very well, that it can affect you physically, which is going to start to affect you mentally, and you might find yourself in your job, your reselling business, where you're lacking motivation, you're having a struggle, getting things started, you're not wanting to list stuff or take pictures and go sourcing, or you can't just find the motivation to get up and ship those orders. Or on the other hand, like with sleep, like if you're not giving your body enough sleep, like this week, I mean, usually I can handle, a couple of nights or 5 to 6 hours of sleep, but I can't do that as much anymore, and it's really been like that for the last couple of weeks, where it caught up to me this last week, that we don't get a lot of free time, so I'm like staying up late just so I can enjoy those moments where I'm able to be by myself and play a video game here and there, watch NBA finals. I think the Cubs are playing late a couple nights, stayed up late, and but it caught up to me. In the mornings it took me a lot longer to get started. I found myself sleeping in a little bit. Usually I'm at work by 6 a.m. just to make sure that I'm out of the house by the time the kids wake up. It just makes the transition so much smoother in the morning. But then I found myself, not getting to work till 6:15. But then my mind was so cloudy that usually that's my most productive time is first thing in the morning. But since I was so tired, it took me a while to get started. And then I didn't like the afternoons where I usually have, the energy. Just find myself just zoning out on my phone or zoning out on the computer, not really having the same drive that I normally have. And that's because I wasn't getting enough sleep. And so if you find yourself in similar situations where you're lacking, the motivation, you're having a hard time focusing, then it could be a lot of different reasons, but look at your sleep. Are you giving yourself enough sleep? And then secondly, are you giving your body the proper foods that it needs to make sure that you are operating on full capacity? So.
And I also want to speak to this because I know that there's some stay-at-home moms and dads out there also. So you're thinking, well, how can I apply this? It really has very little to do with the actual business itself, or the actual anything that you do. You cannot give 100% if you don't take care of yourself. Like you can't expect your body to cooperate with you if you're not feeding it correctly and if you're not recharging it correctly. And that looks different for everyone. Joe can survive on much less sleep than I can. And if I used to feel, honestly, I used to feel a lot of shame about that. I'm like, why can't I just be like, but I'm the kind of person that needs more sleep than probably the average adult. And some foods affect me negatively that don't bother Joe. And some things don't bother Joe that affects, did I say the same thing? You know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But if you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, and reselling is something that you do on the side, or or whatever, like with your children, like, are you finding yourself lacking patience? Are you finding yourself having a hard time being involved or being efficient with getting housework done, or being able to teach them when they're struggling with something? And if you're having a really hard time with those things, it could be a lot of reasons, like Joe said, but a really good place to start and a really practical place to start is to look at what are you feeding yourself and how much rest are you actually getting, and is that enough for you as an individual? So, yeah, I just wanted to add that because sometimes we talk a lot about business, but really this is kind of an all-around
thing. Like this week, I didn't have much patience, and I'm like, Lord, help me get some patience. I need to learn how to be more patient with my kids because they're just kids. They're not bad kids. They're awesome kids.
We have great kids, actually. Yeah.
I mean, all kids are
great kids.
Great kids. They have their ups and downs mainly because us as parents, a lot of times,
they have big emotions.
They have needs that aren't being met. And so, yeah, then we kind of ramble a little bit here and there. And but I think you'll find this useful. I'm hitting the window. I can't. My arm is getting tired.
We're not going to take too much time. I know we normally do these on Thursday, so we usually we're really sorry we couldn't do it yesterday. We were trying to figure out a way to make it work, but we were just like, we'll have it, and I'll I don't remember what I was gonna say.
She gone.
I'm gone. It's done.
Anyways, but I hope you found this video useful. If you are still tuning in, and we appreciate you guys. Don't forget that like button if you did, and subscribe to our channel if you have not done